G'day family, welcome to another video from Sweeney's Creek Farm. Another day of work out on the homestead. People that do gardening will understand that food is one important component of anything that lives, which the plants get from the garden soil. And the other major component, of course, is water. And water is usually a bit of a problem around here in this neck of the woods. But at the moment we seem to have an abundance of it, but we do have to prepare for a return to some more normal hydration in this area. And as you can see here, we've set up a line into the garden beds, and you've seen previous videos where we've been setting up the sprinkler system. The biggest problem at the moment, of course, is as we go to mow and use the what we call a whipper snipper to take down the grass and the weeds, we're having to work around this pipe because it's above ground. And so today's task is going to be trenching and getting this pipe underneath the ground so that I can just run the lawnmower over and not worrying about upsetting Julianne by cutting another pipe.
The reason this pipe is actually sitting on the surface and we haven't put it in the ground is we didn't actually have everything finished. So we wanted to lay everything out before we put this in the ground because we didn't want to have to dig it up. I don't know if Shadow's going to help us dig. At the moment we have a 19mm or 3/4 inch pipe feeding these beds, the greenhouses, and that's it. We are going to increase that size to 25mm or 1 inch. It's a long run, so you don't want to have too small a pipe because the pipe can cause friction and you won't actually get the water to where it is. The pressure won't be good enough. So we're going to replace this one, and we have our 10 new beds over here, and we'll be putting in a dripper system over there, and we'll show you how we put that together very soon.
The good thing about this system is that we don't need to put it a great deal of distance in the ground. 2 or 3 inches is going to be fine, so it'll just be a small trench. Put the pipe in, cover it up, and then we'll be able to maintain our battle against the weeds a lot easier and just be able to mow and remove them without having to worry about hitting our irrigation pipes.
She's been so naughty.
Shadow, are you allowed to be in my chilies?
Chill, dog.
We're also going to change the location of the pipe, so we'll bring it closer into the garden beds, so it'll be about 8-10 inches off the edge of the bed there. We'll know exactly where it is going forward. We'll just run that the same distance down, and then we'll be able to tee off it into the other locations. You'll see Julianne down the back here, she's just undoing the pipe. We're going to lay that out, let it lay down in the sun for a little while. That sunshine will warm it up and just make it a bit more malleable and be able to straighten it out and deal with the fact that it's been curled up for a long time since manufacture.
It's actually the next day. We got rained out, would you believe? It's almost summer and we're getting rains, which is very unusual for this time of year. So as you can see, I've run the pipe along here, all the way down, which is feeding into every one of the beds, and it's also feeding into the high tunnels, both those high tunnels, and it keeps going up there. Now what I have to do is go across to the other beds, the 10 beds that we set up in a previous video, but I just thought I'd show you exactly how we've got this set up in these raised beds. So as you can see, we've got the 1 inch pipe coming along here, and then we've got a 3/4 pipe going all the way up. It goes inside the bed, and that means we'll be able to cut the grass a little bit better. That 19mm pipe comes up from here and across into a 13mm or 1/2 inch, and then goes along with these drippers here, and we'll be replicating that over here. As you can see, each one of these beds has its own tap. That means I can control when it gets watered and for how long. I do have a system set up over beside the tank, and I'll show you that one as well, but that means I can control that. So if there's no plants in here, it also means I can reduce the watering to these beds. You shouldn't ever let your garden beds dry out, because then your soil will become hydrophobic. So even if there's nothing in there, just give it a soak once in a while, just to maintain that organic life in the soil. This project's taking a little bit longer than I would like. I haven't been 100% well. So as you can see, there is a pipe coming along, and this one here is an inch pipe, and that inch pipe goes off into each bed, and I'll show you what I've done with each bed. And obviously it ends down here, so every single one of these beds will have water going to it. So I'll just show you how I've done that. You can see the 1 inch pipe comes along here and then into here, and this is a 1/2 inch pipe, so 25 mil to 13. Each one of these beds has its own tap, so I can turn it off and on depending on what I've got planted in here and how much I need water to it. So this comes in and then across and down these lines here, and this is the same dripper that I use for the tomatoes, and it works really, really well. As you can see here, I've actually left the ends of the pipe without a stopper, and the reason for that is because what I want to do is I want to turn this on and flush out the line, so I'll make sure that there's no dirt. So what I'll do is I'll go turn on the timer and I will flush these lines out. I just want to make sure that this is closed because tap is a little far away from here and I don't want it running out water, because water is precious at the moment. I'm just going to turn this tap on down the other end and you'll see the water come out there. That's all I want. Then I have these little stoppers. I hand tighten these, but I'm just going to go get my multi-grips and tighten them a little bit more and get a clip for that one. And there you go. So the only thing I have to do to this bed is to mulch and maybe transplant this volunteer tomato plant, or it could stay there. Just make sure everything's tight here. Turn this on. And as you can see, the water is now coming out of those drippers all the way along. I've put 3 in these beds. These are 4 foot wide or 1.2 metres wide. So I've just put 3 in. And there you go. Definitely needs mulch. You may have noticed that I haven't actually covered any of these pipes. The reason for that is I wanted to put water through it to make sure that there was no leaks, because I don't want to cover them up and then discover we've got a leak somewhere. In this area, in between all the beds, we're actually putting down some weed mat and then some mulch of some sort on top, and we won't be able to see those pipes, so you need to make sure they don't leak. There you go. Every single bed in this area has its own dripper system, which is fantastic. Each one of these is connected to the tank over there with a pump. It's got a timer on it, so I can just come out here and turn the timer on and pick which beds I want to water at any given time. You may notice I've actually mulched a few of these beds. We've hit summer. You can see it's a lot drier than it used to be. This is the weather that we're normally used to. So I love that these are in now, because I need to get them deep watered and also keep the soil cool, because it's going to get very, very hot. The next project is to cover all this up. Nothing's leaking, so that's fantastic. I'm not going to do that now. It's the middle of the day and it is very, very hot out here. There's no leaks, so that's fantastic. So yeah, that's a really good effort, and hopefully the plants are going to enjoy it. fingers crossed in one of the next videos I'll actually take you for a tour and show you exactly what we've got planted in bed. As you can see, there's a little bit growing, and behind you is the tomatoes that we planted a couple of weeks ago, and you won't believe what they look like. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.